Welcome to Offensive Lines. I'm Marlon,
I'm Boyd.
and we're here to try to redeem ourselves.
Fuck. That was terrible.
Yeah, we mainly discussed that last night, but we are going to point out that we were actually 9-6 in total. It's just what we thought were our best bets were absolutely terrible.
Our worst bets.
Yeah, I mean, I'm 18-10 over the last 2 weeks, and we've won one bet in that period. So, all right.
Not good. Not good at all.
Well, I see we don't.
And
Oh,
so with the hope I'd made at the start of the year of not having to put any money into the account died on week 5 of the NFL season. Week 6 we had to deposit some money. When we started with I think $10 at the start
yeah,
of the preseason.
which isn't a terrible run, but I'm still pissed off about last week. I still think 2 of our picks were good. One of them we were just wrong. 2 of the picks we kind of got screwed on. But listen to our recap show from yesterday if you want the gory details. All right, how about we get right into the picks, Boyd?
Let's go.
Okay. The Thursday nighter. Indy is -2.5 at Houston.
If this game wasn't on a Thursday, I'd love the Colts here.
Me too, but Thursday
'Cause the only
games
thing,
are hard to predict. Indy is traveling. My
and they played a
geography is weak,
tough
so I'm
game,
not even certain how far. They're moving to a high humidity zone in Houston.
but they played. Excuse me. It still comes to the Baltimore still plays physical football, and there was those Pittsburgh Baltimore hangovers that used to happen.
That's a good point, one I hadn't considered at all.
But Houston came off. Dallas is a pretty physical defense too, and they ran the shit out of Arian Foster on Sunday. And watching bits and pieces of that game, that was their only offense, was Arian Foster. Fitzpatrick is as awful as I thought he was.
Yep, you were very right on that. That said, even it's a
Oh, I'm
Thursday
not taking
game.
this
Yeah,
game.
no, I don't want to bet this game. I'm still pretty strong on Indy. Mind you,
Yes.
Houston's been a disaster for me predicting this year, so I'm probably wrong, but I'm taking Indy.
Yeah, I'm Indy too. Well, this is for first place in the division too. And it has to be on a Thursday night. Isn't that great? Let's have more
Well,
Thursday games that matter.
well, they
That's
have to
fucking
be
great.
division matchup games because how else do you sell it for $34 million a game when most people have tuned out by the end of the first quarter and no one's left for the second half?
Well, if this is anything like the other games this year, Indy should win by 20.
Yeah, it's splitting road and home. I do think Indy's going to crush them ultimately. Like they have too much talent, and their defense actually showed a marginal improvement against Baltimore, who's not an entirely useless team. They were on an emotional come down after their Carolina Steve Smith circus, but no, I still like Indy in this, but I don't want to bet it.
No, like I tweeted after the Giants blew out the Redskins, never again on a fucking Thursday.
No.
Or it may have been never fucking again on a Thursday, but it was in that tone.
And they included those words. I mean, the
Yes.
actual words might have been in a different order, but they say the same thing. Okay, moving to Sunday games. We have Baltimore -3 at Tampa Bay. And I'm just going to give a warning right now. This is the week of home dogs. I'm not saying they'll win or cover, but there are an awful lot of road favorites this week. Most
Yes,
I've
you are correct.
almost ever seen in the fucking week. So that's going to make things extra tricky.
I don't want to bet this game.
Neither do I. I thought I
Tampa's
had
plucky.
Tampa's plucky. I thought I had a decent read on Baltimore, but that was proven wrong to me last week. They came out completely flat. I do think they'll have a bounce back here.
Well, the only thing Tampa could fuck up here is if Lovie Smith holds true to the old adage of old coaches and you can't lose a job to fucking injury. How the offense can put up that many points with Glennon and you're thinking of taking him out for McCown.
Is he really thinking? Like, that's absurd. McCown was a disaster. Glennon was pretty good last year under a terrible coaching regime. Why would you even consider this? Glennon wasn't terrible. I had him as a backup in our money league last year. I started him a couple of times. He wasn't a disaster. He's not Tom Brady. He's not Peyton Manning, but he might be Tannehill.
That's not a ringing endorsement.
No, but there are worse starters out there. Like Hurst. Anyway.
He's not a starter.
Fair enough.
And Baltimore's different on the road than they are at home. And this is the year of every team is mediocre. From week to week, you don't know what you're getting.
No, that's very true. So
this is that year they've been having a hard-on for since they tried to get everybody 8-8. This is the year it's going to happen. Oh, look at this matchup of first round of the weekend playoffs, wildcard weekend, 8-8 versus 8-8.
No, more importantly,
feel the excitement.
First place games on Thursday nights near the end of the season. That's what they really want. Good. Yeah, because we want to see everybody play their worst.
But it'll be 8-8. 8-8, 9-7. 7-9 might get in the playoffs this year.
It's possible. Though I don't think so. Not the way the AFC.
Look at
not in the AFC. KC, Denver, and San Diego, I think will both finish, or will all finish over 500, and will suck up those 2 extra wild cards. The only way a 7-9 team is getting into the playoffs is if they win a division.
No. Look at the records. There's a few teams at 4-1 and everybody else is 3-2 or 2-3. It's bizarro world. Look like the NFC North. 3-2. Everybody's 3-2 except Minnesota. NFC East 4-1 and then 3-2. It's just brutal. The league's fucking. I don't care. I'm gonna keep fucking harping on this all year. It's horrible.
Agreed. You can harp on it. Your point isn't incorrect, but you're limited to 90 seconds per pod.
Okay, I only used up 15 there, so I get another 60.
Closer to 25, but
I got another 70 seconds.
I hadn't given you the warning, so I'm sure you'll reprise that later. This game, do you know what?
I'm taking Tampa at home.
You kind of swayed me there. I'm going to take Tampa too. I'm going to asterisk that.
Baltimore didn't run the ball at all last week.
No, they didn't. Forsett and Taliaferro are not the answer.
And if you're thinking Flacco's beating you, if you
can't beat Indy's pass defense, yeah, Flacco will show up for 1 in 4 games.
If you take Steve Smith out of the game, are you really worried about Jacoby Jones or Torrey Smith? And with no running game, those two are useless. That's how they got open. So
yeah, something I forgot
Tampa.
too was, they're a disaster at tight end with Pitta blowing up his hip again. They got through it in the Carolina game because Steve Smith got lucky, but yeah, I like Tampa now. I'm firm on that. Okay, our next game up is Carolina +7 at Cincy.
Isn't that a lot?
Doesn't that seem like a lot? That said, I have picked 2 games right between both of these teams all year. You have picked 3.
No, I know, but it's
So no, I'm just saying we cannot seem to be able to figure out these teams. Cincy is a hell of a lot better at home. Talk about your home team advantages. Are they 7 points better?
Were they exposed a little?
Yeah, they were, but they were exposed against the rush. And who does Carolina have rushing the ball?
Carolina has a good tight end, though.
Yes.
Which kind of exposed them against New England as well.
That's true, but that was more because New England just ran it down their throat for the most of the game. And Carolina has no running backs.
This is true. I don't want to bet this game.
No, neither do I. You know,
I'm taking Carolina, though.
I'm going to take Cincy. Simply because Carolina's rushing game doesn't impress me. Their rush defense is absolutely fucking brutal. What did Forte put up on them?
But Cincinnati's defense didn't run, or offense hasn't run the ball the last 2 games either.
That's true.
They didn't run. They put up hardly any yards against Tennessee.
This could just be bad coaching. But, no, I think I'm going to take Cincy. I don't like laying 7 points. You make good arguments. I certainly don't want to bet it. Next game up, we have Denver traveling to the Meadowlands to face the Jets. They are favored by 8 points.
Yes, please. Can I have some more? There's no way we're not betting this game. Give me one functional reason that this shouldn't be 13. This should be 13.
I agree. This should be 13. Yeah, I saw literally nothing. I'm still thinking back to my teams that lose by 3 touchdowns number, but that's bullshit. Fuck it. Denver has got to establish. They've actually got people breathing down their necks. The Jets showed me literally fucking nothing in that San Diego game.
How are the Jets stopping Thomas, Sanders, and Welker?
Well, was it Trent Richardson? Is that one of their big linemen? I think he went down in that Chargers game too.
Wasn't that a running back? Isn't that the running back from...
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. I'm sorry. We're old. We apologize for this. But one of their best defensive linemen went down. And after that, Oliver for the Chargers just tore holes in their run defense. Yeah, we're. I'm putting the arrow because we got to go through the whole slate.
Yeah.
To decide, but I like it too, Denver.
There's nothing.
The only bitch is will Denver have a 14-point lead and Peyton will just want to keep throwing it like the Indy game?
No.
But I don't think the Jets are capable of scoring.
Well, how are the Jets going to if Denver puts up 24 points? How are the Jets putting up 16?
I like that sentence a lot. And 24 points is by no means unreasonable. And
I'm thinking they're going to score 40. How many Manning needs 4 touchdowns to catch Favre? I think to tie him. He's getting them in this game. He's getting them in this game.
In the media capital of the world?
That's right.
You think you'd like that?
It's happening in this game.
Now that said, you also sent me a text saying never fucking again will you bet on Denver laying points, but that was in the heat of the moment. That was in week 1 when they gave up the cover to Indy. But Indy is not the New York Jets. Oh, I know. I said it was a heat of the moment thing. I'm not holding you to it. I just do want to bring up that there's an awful lot of texts about never fucking again that come from you.
Well, Thursday's true.
Yeah.
We'd held firm to that forever.
And then we
come off it and fucking lose. So
no, you're right. No, and I didn't mean anything by that point. I was just
yes, you did.
Laughing.
You tried to fuck me over, but that's okay. A knife comes out as easy as it goes in.
But you feel it both ways.
Yeah. and it's serrated on both sides. So
Okay. Okay, the next game is off, so we cannot bet it. But for the purposes of our picks challenge, we found what seems to be the line for those who are actually offering play on it. Detroit is -2.5 at Minnesota. So we are picking on the 2.5, but we can't bet this game even if we want to.
I'm taking Detroit.
You know what? I'm taking Minnesota.
Why is Bridgewater playing?
Bridgewater is going to play by almost all accounts, and this doesn't look like a sucker move. Calvin Johnson has very little, and finally they showed that you can pass on that secondary. It was always suspect in Detroit. You know, Kyle Orton, Buffalo, admittedly Sammy Watkins looked like some sort of superhero out there. But, and I still like Minnesota's defense most of the time. You know, it's kind of relating to our don't bet on Thursday. Don't read anything into the results of a Thursday night game. You know, that's something we've said before. It's just kind of strike them off the list. I'm going to take Minnesota.
You make a good argument for Minnesota, but if I'm ranking someone in my top 5 from yesterday,
yeah,
I can't take Minnesota.
No, and I like Detroit in a lot of ways, but right now they're pretty crippled. That's a big part of my reason here.
And the Bridgewater thing, ankle sprain, coming off a high ankle sprain. He's one hit from being out and back to the Christian Ponder fucking mess.
And that's a physical line in Detroit too. They're just nothing short of nasty on the line.
So I don't know how they're going to score points, Minnesota, but so I'm taking Detroit. Detroit's defense has been for real so far. So should I expect a rookie quarterback to pick them apart? If he has 200 yards rushing, maybe they win the game. But I can't see him beating Detroit. And I know Detroit stinks on the road or plays less than their best on the road. And I think I've got this game wrong the last 3 years. But Detroit's got to win one of these for me.
Well, currently on the season, you're 1-4 picking Detroit games. So, sorry, that's something that'll be up as a post tomorrow. I went and ranked both Doug, Boyd, and myself with our record picking for and against teams. And as you'd expect, there's not a lot of good news for anyone anywhere. So,
I'm only 2 games under 500 through 5 weeks.
Yeah, I'm 500. So, but yeah, there's a lot of teams that seem to be giving us fits this year. But yeah, I'm on Minnesota. I think they're somewhat underrated. I think this should be kind of a pick'em game. It could go either way, but I think Minnesota's a touch underrated at this stage. Next up, we have Green Bay -3 at Miami. I like it, Boyd. Tell me I'm wrong.
Yeah, I do too. The only thing I don't like is the price. The -125.
If we have to suck it, we need to just put some fucking winners and ignore the fucking price right now. I didn't even write down the prices this week. So
what's Green Bay's record on the road?
They lost to Seattle. No real shame there.
Lost to Detroit. Put up 7 points.
They've lost to good teams. Yeah, they crushed the Bears. Their losses are to what we think are pretty good teams.
Yeah, and Miami's not one of them.
No. Miami's still confused coming back from London. That's a number that would be interesting to look up, is the records of teams that played in London and where they come back. I still don't believe Tannehill. I don't believe their receivers.
The only thing that scares me is their defense, Green Bay's defense.
That's a valid concern.
They give up a lot of points. Now, granted, Christian Ponder didn't score much, but I think Tannehill's a little better than Ponder. Oh no, I like this game too.
I do like this game. I think it's got to be in the mix.
Oh, it's definitely in the mix.
And Green Bay has murdered people the last 2 weeks. And they're a talented team. I mean, I think that...
well, offensively.
Yeah. And Miami is not talented offensively. I still don't buy. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think Miami... Like, Mike Wallace, really? That's your number one? He's a speed burner who's going to catch 30 balls for a 25-yard average, you know? That's his absolute ceiling in my mind. He can't beat you with 11 catches, you know?
No, and the only reason this line... excuse me. The only reason this line's 3, I think, is that win over New England. Because the only other win they have is against the Raiders. So,
yeah,
and with your logic of the Green Bay has blown out their last 2 teams. Normally, this would be a 7-8 point line. This would be like the Bronco line. So, yeah, no, this is definitely in the mix.
And, you know, in our discussions, too, I don't think there's a particular amount of shame losing to Detroit or Seattle. We think both of those teams are among the better teams in the league. So, I'm not putting that much onto it. I don't think Miami is one of the better teams in the league.
No, but, okay, I'm using up 5 seconds. It's a shit league.
Yes, indeed.
You don't know
any given Sunday, man.
Well, it's true. It's fucking true this year. More true than it's been. Like, winning on betting in the NFL is fucking near impossible. This year, it's like, if we could turn a profit this year, it'd be our best year. But
we knew it was a pretty hard slate, like, decision to try to face this. Anyway. Okay, next game up. That one is in the mix. Next game up is off the board, and we couldn't bet it anyway. But the best line you've found has been Jacksonville are 6-point underdogs to Tennessee.
Take Jacksonville, please. Especially if Whitehurst is at quarterback.
You were up 28-3, dude. I can still not take Jacksonville. They have failed to cover a single game.
Yeah, but 3 of those touchdowns...
Let alone win. Bortles is interesting. You know, he's going to be fun to watch looking forward. They still don't have Marquise Lee back, do they?
Yeah, he's back. Cecil Shorts, Alan Hearns... There's some talent there, and Tennessee's pass defense is awful. Awful. So I'm taking Jacksonville.
I'm honestly going to take Tennessee. I think it was just such a strange alignment of disasters that let Tennessee lose to Cleveland. Cleveland is better than Jacksonville.
It was self-inflicted. Self-inflicted.
Yeah.
And we lost a safety, starting quarterback. We're playing our defense isn't suited for the 3-4, yet we're still trying to fit that fucking square peg into the round hole for some fucking unknown reason. We can't stop anybody. Look at the amount of points we've given up since week 1. 26 to Dallas. Then it was a fucking nightmare in Cincinnati, 33-7. Then we gave up 41 to Indy and 30 to Cleveland. So our
That's
defense isn't fucking stellar. So Jacksonville +6. If
Man, they did
Tennessee
scare
may
me in
win
the
this
first
game,
half before he started to throw rookie picks. Yeah, I'm gonna switch over with you. Now, mind you, Doug is 5-0 with Jacksonville because he's never been suckered by the points in those fuckers.
but I'm taking Jacksonville.
Okay. Next
They
game.
missed covering the Steelers by a point last week, I believe, or half a point. It was 7 or 7.5.
Yeah, they were tight, and as I said, like you mock me for it, but they were giving me a legitimate scare in the first half in San Diego. So they're not completely inept. Okay. Yeah, I've switched over to Jacks. Next game up, we have New England -3 at Buffalo. I want to stay away from this like I want to stay away from an open flame.
Yeah, me too.
We
I don't know.
we are disastrous with picks on both these teams.
I don't even know who to pick here. Was that a
Between us,
one-game
we
mirage?
have 6 wins between both of these teams. And that's because I've been all right with Buffalo. You have failed to pick a Buffalo game. We are both just shit shows against New England. You are 2-3, and I am 1-4. I hate everything, and I can't figure out New England to save my goddamn life.
Well, was that game the aberration against Cincinnati? Or were the first 4 aberrations?
It's an excellent question. I think
Like,
Buffalo's defense is relatively stout. You know, they just went they just won in Detroit. Now, admittedly, they got 3 field goals missed to help them. But Orton is an upgrade, however slight, from EJ Manuel. He can at least get the ball there on time occasionally. Not every time, but
can Revis cover Watkins?
Revis has not blown me away this year. He had a good game against Cincinnati, but it's your argument about aberration. That was really his first good game.
The only thing that gives me pause from taking Buffalo in this game is that New England seemed to have figured out that Tim Wright can take the Aaron Hernandez role in that offense.
That's a really good point. And as I said to you, when they traded Logan Mankins for him, which I still think was the wrong decision, I owned Timothy Wright in both my fantasy leagues last year, and he performed well for me. He's a good player. And I bet
I'm
you
taking
Tampa
New
wishes he
England.
was back. Yeah, are you?
Yeah, I'm taking
Wow.
it. Just not with a great deal of confidence. It's just figuring out on offense how to use, and maybe Wright needed this time to figure out the offense and develop some chemistry with Brady in practice. I have no idea, but he seemed to come out of. I didn't hear his name the first 4 games, and he was one of the storylines in that game. So. Who the
And
fuck
Gronkowski
knows?
had a good game with the second tight end on the field, too. I mean,
That's-
what you're saying is valid. That said, I'm still going to take Buffalo at home. As I've said, the worst part of their team was Manuel. I'm not saying Orton's great, but Buffalo at home with a pretty solid... Now, this might change. If Freddie Jackson's gone, which there's been no real information, I might swing to your New England side. But because Spiller is a waste of a roster spot and has been for a long time.
Hey, good on kick returns.
Oh, okay. Good on him. Attaboy. All right.
It's better than a lot of teams have got. I'll say that.
Yeah,
And we
well,
thought that of Marshawn Lynch too when he was in Buffalo.
yeah, but when he was in Buffalo, the team was not this team. This is 75% of a good team. In fact, now maybe with Orton at least not being a complete disgrace, they might be 80% of a good team. They're not terrible. And
No, I'm not
Watkins
saying
is
they're
a
terrible,
goddamn freak. Holy fuck, he made some catches on Sunday. Just amazing.
New
And
England.
here's the great thing is he's running his routes perfectly. Like he looks like the prepared player. And then the ball's not coming in right, but he is so good that he will still make the catch when the ball is functionally uncatchable for any other receiver. So fucking good.
But this game's for first place in the East. Do we really think Buffalo's the first place team in the East?
I don't
I just
think
can't.
this
I can't
is the
concede that's Buffalo yet.
well, no, but road dogs, rabid crowd, have ownership. I still like Buffalo in this. I'm going to check a lot at Freddie Jackson though, because he's really pivotal to that team. All right. Next game up, we have Pittsburgh +2 at Cleveland. Cleveland is the favorite in this game. Am I wrong, or does this just seem bizarre? I don't understand why.
It's a little bizarre. Well, because Pittsburgh really hasn't beat anybody. And they lost to Tampa at home. But I'm taking the Steelers here.
I am too, and I'm thinking this might not be the worst game to bet.
No, I don't want to bet this game.
No?
But no, my reasoning for taking Pittsburgh is Cleveland acted like they won the fucking Super Bowl last week. Dancing in the locker room after, offensive lineman, quarterback, fuck.
Well, it was a historic comeback. I can understand some joy. But for all of Pittsburgh's problems, and you know I hate Pittsburgh.
So do I.
I still think they're a better team than Cleveland at this stage.
And to be honest, Cleveland secondary played like shit on Sunday.
Well, they gave up 28 points and a half. That's really all you need to know.
And it wasn't like Tennessee's offense was lighting people up before this game.
No.
So and I know Cleveland came back to make it a game in Pittsburgh, but they're not going to do this week in, week out.
No, like, do they get two ridiculous scoring? Like, that would be their third ridiculous scoring second half. Because they did it on Pittsburgh too, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm referring to.
Yeah. We've seen all your tricks. I like Pittsburgh a lot in this game.
Well, we'll see what else we've got, because we've got two pretty good ones so far.
Yeah, this is a dark horse right now, but I still think it might be worth another look. Next game up, we cannot bet. San Diego is 7-point favorites going to Oakland.
Please let us bet this.
No, there's absolutely no way. Oakland splits with San Diego all the time. It looks like it's a lock for whatever fucking reason. No, I love San Diego in this too, but we were not allowed to bet it. We broke that rule one time, betting against your Titans, and your Titans won walking away.
Marlon, this is the first time in the history of our podcast that one of our teams has been this good, where we weren't a 500 team or a 9-7 team. And I said it to you before the podcast, where we were losing money this year on value was San Diego.
Yeah, we're still not betting this game, Boyd. I'm calling established rules.
All right, I'm throwing it in your face if we go 0-3 again.
You know what? And I'll
And the
take that.
Chargers win by 17.
I'll take that. Oakland still fucking bugs me. We
They're
lost to them
awful.
last year badly. Um,
They are awful.
yeah, this is a solid bet for anyone out there listening. I'm just not going to make it. Okay. Next up, Chicago +3 at Atlanta.
I don't mind Atlanta here. I don't want to bet it though.
I don't want to bet it either, and I'm even favoring Chicago still.
What?
Yeah,
Why?
because they had that
It's the
game in
Alshon
hand,
Jeffrey
and then something Atlanta doesn't have is a tight end. That's who tore Chicago apart. Chicago was running at will, and then Cutler had a fucking Cutler moment.
Yeah, but he has. But you can't. How do we keep defending him and saying that when it becomes more often than not? It's not
Okay.
a Cutler moment. It's what he does. It's who he
Yes.
is.
Very true. But that said, Atlanta's defense is a goddamn reeking disaster.
So Chicago's Conti's out now with a busted hand. What the fuck have they got in the secondary to stop Jones and White or fucking Harry Douglas? If he's playing,
Yeah,
there's no fucking way I would take Chicago on the road.
this is two shitty teams that a lot of people don't realize how shitty they are. How's that for an assessment? And that's why we're not betting it.
But Atlanta wins at home, and they put up a lot of points at home. Not just against fucking Tampa. They put up a lot of points at home.
Yeah, but they've given up over 30 in, I believe, every game this year.
The Bears can't stop shit.
It's a
Carolina
shoot.
put up 31.
It's
Carolina
a little
put up
shoot 'em up.
31.
This is why they are. What do you think of my assessment there? This is two shitty teams that people think are better than they are.
No, but I don't know how you think Chicago still got something going.
I'm
That's
just fucking
where
being
I'm.
stubborn on them. I don't know why.
That's
You're
where
right.
I'm-
You're right.
That's where I'm confused. Because everything I've seen out of Chicago, they were lucky to beat the Jets. The Jets gave them that game. Chicago didn't win that fucking game. Gave them a pick for 6 and a fumbled punt were 2 of their touchdowns. And they won what? 24-17 or some fucking thing, or 20-14, something fucking stupid.
You're thinking of Green Bay.
No. No, that Chicago Jets game was fucking ugly ass shit. The Jets got a short field touchdown on the fumbled punt and a Geno Smith overthrow on a screen pass returned for a touchdown in the first quarter. And they hung on to win that game.
Yeah.
The Jets had a chance at the end and got picked off in the end zone.
Okay, now I'm recalling this.
The Bears are shitty. Now, would you rather have Jay Cutler's contract or Joe fucking Flacco's? They're the same fucking thing.
Oh, I know. That was a terrible decision by Chicago.
They're the same thing. When you win
And,
as well,
you know,
with
when
your
you get
backup,
right down to it, I would much rather have Matt Ryan as my quarterback than Cutler.
and wide out, Julio Jones is as good as Brandon Marshall.
Better.
Or as a group, they're pretty close.
As a group, they're pretty close. I just think that Chicago has a running back. I think neither of these teams bothers to even field a defense. I like the points.
You're going to be sorry again. I'm taking Atlanta.
All right.
Different team at home. I know they play like shit on the road.
Oh, everything
But-
tells me this is correct or that you are correct. We're both 2-3 on Atlanta games. You're 3-2 in Chicago, I'm 2-3. So I guess, we're as mediocre as the teams in this case.
No, but I overvalued Chicago was my problem. And I'm having a market correction on them.
Fair enough. We will discuss this Monday night. Okay, next game up. Dallas +8 at Seattle.
Don't want to touch this one either.
Me either. I like Seattle. Even laying the 8 at home. Dallas pissed me off so bad, and that's why I don't want to bet it. I'm still so fucking pissed off at Dallas. I'm not seeing them clearly. Every time I look at their uniforms, there's a haze of red coming over my eyes like I'm going into psychotic rage.
Well, no,
So I don't think I'm assessing this game correctly, which is why I want to stay away from it.
I want to take Dallas here. The only thing scaring me off is the way Arian Foster ran through him in that game.
Yeah. And here's the other thing about
Seahawks receivers
Seattle.
outside of Percy Harvin don't scare me.
No, but after the tight game against Denver until the end, they've just gone back to the college boy offense. There is no one on Dallas's defense who can spy.
There is.
That quarterback. You really think so?
Yep. Rolando McClain has played unfucking believable linebacker for him this year, coming from the loony bin to fucking back to the NFL.
Okay.
He's been fantastic.
Okay.
But I still can't take Dallas on the road.
The point is they're just using read option now. They're going back to 2 years ago. They've suddenly decided, part of the reason San Diego beat Seattle was Seattle was trying to make a point that Russell Wilson was going to be a great pocket passer and a field general leader in the Brady-Peyton mold. And once they took away that rolling pocket, he's exactly what you said he was. Unbelievably average. But now that they've got him running around, look at the uptick in his rushing yards.
Yeah, but
in
they
that
still
overtime, and I don't think Dallas has... Oh, exactly. That was on the road, though, too, which we've always said about Seattle. You really don't trust them on the road. Here at home against a Dallas team that there are many things I like about them. There's a lot I don't like about them, too.
Can Seattle stop DeMarco Murray?
Possibly. That's a really good question. I don't have an answer for you right now.
Or will he fumble 3 times?
Well, and he's fumbled at least once in every game this year. Now, he's lost them all, which is bad fumble luck, but...
There's so much here that makes me want to take Dallas, just with the points. I'm not saying they're going to win the game.
No, that's reasonable.
But...
I'm on Seattle because they've gone back to, what maybe San Francisco should do with Kaepernick is stop trying to pretend he's a good quarterback. He's a good college quarterback. Use him for his strengths. If he gets hurt, he gets hurt.
And I know Ryan Fitzpatrick isn't a great quarterback. Dallas's pass defense has been pretty damn good, even though they're not getting a lot of heat on or not a lot of sacks anyway. They were hitting Fitzpatrick a lot in that. They weren't getting sacks, but he was getting put on his ass.
I don't disagree. I still like Seattle at home laying 8 on this. I like it quite a bit. I don't want to bet it. Don't get me wrong.
What's going to fuck? I would take Dallas here if they had a better coach. Because he'll make some fucked up mistake decision call that'll make it a 10-point game. Yeah, I'll take Seattle here.
You're taking Seattle? Okay. That's a tough one, though. And I find it really interesting because you asked a great question in that, can Seattle stop DeMarco Murray?
And their defense hasn't played like it did last year.
No, it certainly hasn't, but they haven't played poorly either.
One game against Denver. They played like they did last year. And then they still gave up a touchdown in the last minute. So, and they were in both the playoff games against New Orleans and San Francisco. They had opportunities to lose that game in the last minute.
I don't think they're an unstoppable juggernaut, but at home they're formidable. And, they beat Denver by 6 because of overtime. And I still have to say Denver's better than Dallas.
If Dallas holds Marshawn Lynch under 100 yards rushing, they win this game.
Okay. But you're still not stepping out on them. I understand.
No.
I understand that. No, that's a great fucking Vegas number. Because it's enticing. But I still can't do it.
But if Marshawn Lynch is held under 100 yards, they're not winning. They don't have the receivers. Dallas's defense is better than what everybody thinks.
Let's say if rush
and this line
yards
should
are
be
under
about
150, and part of that is Russell Wilson. If Marshawn Lynch is held under 100, but Russell Wilson runs for 100,
he won't.
I call it a wash. I'm saying if Dallas can hold them to between 150 and 200 even, Dallas can cover this number.
Watch Rolando McClain and tell me if I'm crazy. Watch, he'll play one shitty fucking game, but in the 2 games I've watched Dallas play this year, he's been outstanding.
Okay. I will watch that.
So watch for Rolando McClain.
Okay.
He's gonna if he plays like he has all year, he'll win comeback player of the year. Easy.
Okay. I like that kind of tip. Next game up is off the board. This is a consensus number that we're finding on the sites. It is Washington plus 3.5 at Arizona. Obviously, because no one has any idea who is playing quarterback for Arizona.
Well, the coach, Arian, says one of Stanton or Palmer is going to be starting. He said one of them will be ready. So I'm taking Arizona easy in this one.
Arizona in the desert, is one of my favorite plays. They are tough there. Washington was game against Seattle. I don't really know how that game got that tight. Really don't.
Well, it's Seattle playing down to their competition on the road. I'm not saying they did that against San Diego, but they do that against the weaker teams.
No, they
now,
might
I will
have done
say
that
this.
against San Diego, but I don't, if
No,
their
they
coaching staff was
Diego's
looking
a
through
good
San
team.
Diego, they were fools.
No, they weren't. San Diego's a good team. That's why I made a point of saying it. But you also have the Washington played Seattle the previous week. Like playing 2 physical games like that in a row is tough. And especially going to Arizona on top of it makes it even tougher.
Yeah.
And Kirk Cousins looked like shit against the Giants defense. What's he going to do against Arizona? I'm taking Arizona all the way. There's no question at 3.5.
You talked me into it. I don't want to bet it, not that we could. My gut's telling me Washington, but as I believe it might have been Bruce Arians says, my gut's been lying to me for 45 years. Why would I trust it now? Okay, next up, we have the New York Giants plus 3 at Philly.
Oh, this game's fucked.
Can you make head or tail of the Giants?
I can't make head or tail of the Eagles. What's my record with them? 1-4? 2-3?
2-2 and a push.
Okay.
Which is exactly where I am. My record on the Giants, however, is 3-2, and we're both 3-2 on the Giants. We were blind squirrels who found acorns on on these two teams. I certainly don't want to bet it. I don't have a fucking
No.
clue. I'm going to go Giants. And I'm going to
I'm
take
taking
the points.
Philly at home.
I still don't trust their O-line. Not that the Giants have a hugely credible pass rush. I have little to say about this game, except that the very existence of both these teams kind of pisses me off on an existential
They're going to
level.
score between 30 and 40 each in this game. And the only reason I'm taking Philly is because they're at home.
That's reasonable, and the only reason I'm taking the Giants is I'm getting 3. Okay. Next up, the Niners, 3-point favorites over the Rams.
Okay, I would rather bet this game than the Steelers.
Elaborate.
Well, you watched the San Francisco game last week and you said they're doing some good things. I don't think a rookie quarterback against their defense is going to do what he did against the Eagles defense, which until the Eagles got up by 27, he had done nothing. And that's when the Eagles relaxed, and then it became, oh, we got to make a play in the last minute to preserve a victory. I just think the Niners defense kills them. The Rams have no semblance of a running game. They have Quick at receiver, who is, I don't know. I don't know nothing about him. The receivers aren't great. Tight end's not great. They're missing guys on defense. No running game. And I know the Niners have struggled in St. Louis recently, but I can't see St. Louis keeping this within 3.
Sold.
But then I look at the number, and it's minus 125, and the Steelers are minus 110. But do we want winners or price or
Dude, we
what?
gotta get in the fucking win column. Like, fuck the price at this stage. If we were betting $10,000 stacks at the casino in Vegas, that price becomes significant. Right now, I feel like just ignoring price.
Because when, like betting, like you had San Francisco in your top 5.
Yes.
They
Because
were on
I
the
have
bubble for
watched
me.
the Niners recently, and after a disastrous start, the team's slightly better. What I would like to see, as we discussed in the Seattle game, I would like to see them just turn Kaepernick loose. He's not a pocket passer. He never will be. I mean, it's just like what they tried to do with Michael Vick, and they tried to do with Randall Cunningham. All these quarterbacks who can move like the fucking wind, they try to say they should be pocket passers. Now, occasionally that can be a disaster, like with RG3 where they get hurt. But
Or Jake Walker.
both Kaepernick and Russell Wilson. Kaepernick more so than Wilson, but they don't take that many big hits unless they're standing like a statue in the pocket.
No, but Marlon, the reason that every team wants to turn these guys into a pocket, and I didn't used to agree with this. I thought it was bullshit, but it's true. When you're a running quarterback, you take way more shots than you do standing in the pocket. Even Locker's touchdown run, he got a forearm shiver to the fucking chin. Like, it's just, you take too many shots, and you're not going to last 16 games playing like that. The Niners pull it out of the bag when they need a big win.
And I still think they need a big win right now. So I like
not
the
against
Niners
St. Louis.
in this.
Yeah, me too. But I don't.
It's a divisional record game. It's actually pretty huge. It increases their division chances. They lost to Zona already. They can't go 0-2 in the division.
No. And they still have Seattle twice yet.
And I do think
Arizona
San Francisco, who I kind of dislike for whatever reason, but not in reasons of watching their play. I think they're better. I think all of this Harbaugh bullshit is focusing the players as opposed to the opposite.
Well, they're not. Well, I think this is just a ploy by Harbaugh. What are they talking about all week?
Taking it even deeper. Yeah.
What are they talking about all week? What do these coaches do? Why did Rex Ryan come out and say it's all on me? Because then the players aren't answering questions all week about how shitty they are.
And so now they're all saying, we love our coach. No, I like this game. You're sold. I was already on board. I just kind of wanted to hear your argument. And I think the Rams are, in many situations, an undervalued team.
No,
I'm doing okay with the Rams, but that Philly bullshit was Philly bullshit, and I'll tell you that. I'll own it, but this isn't the spot where I want the Rams. So, we should wrap it up.
Okay, so we're taking Denver -8.
God, I hate
at
that
the Jets.
fucking number, but yes, I love it.
No, come on.
I know, I still just hate seeing the fucking snowman there. Okay. No, you're right. I'm not uncomfortable.
This should be last year. This would have been 13-14. What makes this 8? I don't know.
What makes it 8 is that the Jets played Green Bay hard. But the Chargers injured them and humiliated them. And then there's the bounce back there, but I don't put a lot of credibility in the bounce back in this case. The Jets were awful.
Not bouncing back with that quarterback.
Either of them.
Two Buffalo teams drafted black quarterbacks in the last 2 years, and neither of them are worth a shit. They keep trying to trot him out there like they're polishing a turd. And they have to because they drafted him in the first fucking round. Yep. So...
Okay, book it.
It's booked.
All right.
$10 bet pays $19.52.
Yeah, we're paying some prices this week, aren't we?
Well, that's normal. That's only a -110.
Oh, yeah, okay.
No, the other ones we're paying prices on.
I do like this Green Bay -3 at Miami.
Yeah. So we've got Green Bay -3 at Miami. $10 bet's only going to pay about 18. 18.30. No, 18 even. So I'm going to book that.
We are passing on Pittsburgh +2 at Cleveland. And we are taking the Niners -3 at the Rams on Monday night.
And that $10 bet pays 18 as well.
Well, this is a Road Warriors weekend for us, Boyd.
Yeah.
Dig up a Mad Max graphic. For the post tomorrow.
Good call. But I won't use it because you spoiled it now.
No, it'll still look good. Mad Max always looks so. Even take one from the new movie, the reboot, which looks goddamn awesome.
I can't put Mel Gibson on there, can I?
Well, exactly. Go to the new movie. He's rebooting Mad Max, and the trailer is fucking awesome, so we can get a great still out of that. Okay, just to summarize, we have Denver -8, 10 pays 19.52. We have Green Bay -3, 10 pays 18, and we have the Niners -3, 10 pays 18.
All right. Do you have anything else you wanted to get to?
Nah, not at all.
Okay. So if you want to check out our podcast, you can listen to it on iTunes or at Stitcher.com. For your Android device, on our website, offensivelines.ca. Follow us on Twitter at offensivelines or on our personal accounts at olinesmarlon or at olinesboyd. For any updates to our blog or when new podcasts are available, You can also find us on facebook.com/offensive lines. And if you want to send us an email, it's offensivelines@shaw.ca. I'm Boyd.
I'm Marlon, and that was our pick show for week 6.
Yay, Marlon used his Twitter account today.